Right now, compounding physical shocks are testing the limits of the global order. Persistent inflation and supply chain bottlenecks are fracturing international trade. Geopolitical flashpoints are adding immense pressure. Roughly 20 million barrels of oil flow through the Strait of Hormuz daily. Closing this narrow waterway guarantees an immediate worldwide energy crisis. In Taiwan, a single island manufactures 90% of the world's advanced semiconductors. A blockade there would shrink U.S. economic output by nearly 7% and halt global technology production in a matter of months. Despite these highly credible threats of economic collapse, the global stock market continues to break all-time highs. Why is the most sophisticated capital on the planet acting as if the apocalypse simply will not happen? In 2008, venture capitalist Peter Thiel offered an answer he called the optimistic thought experiment. His logic is strictly mathematical. Financial markets must ignore civilizational ruin because there is zero way to profit from a collapsed system. If global trade stops and governments fall, the entire architecture of debt and obligation disappears. Gold coins, government bonds, and cash reserves hold zero value if there is nothing left to buy or sell. This diagram illustrates capital flows across potential futures. Any timeline ending in collapse zeroes out your investment. You are mathematically forced to place all your chips on the one narrow path where humanity successfully navigates its threats. Wall Street is not acting out of ignorance. Capital is cornered. It has to finance the tools required to keep capitalism alive. Navigating those threats requires extreme solutions. To ensure the global economy remains intact, capital must seek out technologies capable of neutralizing existential risk. Investors are no longer placing those bets on legacy defense contractors. They're bypassing the traditional military-industrial complex and pouring billions into a venture-backed movement known as American dynamism. At the forefront of this movement is Palmer Luckey and his company, Anduril. Instead of building single, expensive fighter jets or ships, Anduril uses an operating system called Lattice to network thousands of cheap, autonomous drones and sensors. They are constructing massive facilities designed to manufacture tens of thousands of these disposable weapons a year to create immediate deterrence. By shifting the focus away from heavy manufacturing, global defense becomes an agile, scalable software problem. Physical weapons only solve part of the equation. State actors can trigger a cascading economic collapse by attacking digital supply chains and power grids before a single physical shot is fired. Alex Karp's company Palantir aims to secure that invisible front. Their artificial intelligence platform ingests massive streams of classified data to map complex logistical vulnerabilities. This diagram maps how vulnerable data nodes, power grids, satellites are unified under one secure dashboard. Meanwhile, AI models like Anthropic's Mythos act as automated immune systems, patching vulnerabilities. Simulating and securing the network neutralizes risks computationally, preventing blackouts or grounded fleets. Even the best software needs physical infrastructure to transmit it, and terrestrial cables can be cut. Elon Musk is building an alternative. Using the Starship launch vehicle, SpaceX is deploying thousands of low Earth orbit satellites. Projects like Starshield and the proposed Golden Dome missile defense system create a secure, encrypted orbital net that bypasses vulnerable ground infrastructure entirely. Autonomous hardware swarms, predictive AI networks, and orbital communications. Together, they form a privately owned immune system for human civilization. Because this new architecture is funded by private venture capital, the balance of global power is migrating away from national governments. Modern armed forces are already dependent on commercially owned systems to function in active conflict zones. This reliance creates immense tactical friction. Commercial signals can be jammed by enemy electronic warfare, and military operations can be suddenly restricted by the terms of service drafted in a corporate boardroom. Elected officials are finding themselves forced to negotiate their sovereign security with a handful of unelected tech founders. The state no longer holds a monopoly on the tools of war. The market's cold mathematical necessity to avoid total collapse has inadvertently triggered a massive, privately funded rearmament across the West. Peter Thiel's optimistic thought experiment points toward a highly specific future. The surviving timeline is not a peaceful utopia. It is a highly militarized, algorithmic fortress. Capital has placed its trillion-dollar bet on this new vanguard. To survive the 21st century, we must rely on their infrastructure and hope their code holds up under pressure.